Welcome to the Killing Podcast, Episode 11, Missing.
So,
I am your host, Martha Southgate, and with me is...
Rob Southgate. So the last
we gotta
episode,
jump in. We're too
we
excited.
never came up with why it was called The Reason You Get There, or whatever. We never finished that one out. So here we are with Missing.
Oh, we know what this one means.
This one makes sense.
Yeah, this one means something.
And it's short. The last one was the longest name that they've had, and this was the shortest.
Yes. And this is really the first episode that is only about Sarah and Holder. Like
it's really focused on that.
There is nothing from the campaign. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I think it's all.
This is actually like a side story.
Yeah.
Even though it's not. A lot happens.
It is kind of a side story.
But it is, right.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
I liked it quite a bit. And
it has some of the best lines.
I'd also like to point out that this is now day 11. Now that I figured that out.
Are you positive?
Yes, it goes into day 11. So let's get into it.
So Sarah's at the casino. And she questions...
Now, this is the casino that she saw from the boat.
Yeah, with the logo.
And she saw the logo that was on the keychain that was in evidence.
So she's questioning the staff, and they try to block her, and they tell her she needs a federal warrant because they're protected.
Yeah, she's talking to the casino manager, and they're like, look, this is an Indian reservation, and we're not under your laws. You have no power here.
Be gone.
Be gone, yes.
So she calls the assistant district attorney, the guy from the treadmill, or the exercise bike
Rusty.
the other day.
I like to call him Rusty.
Crusty.
But wait, she says the hotel manager... Mm-hmm. No, I'm going to start that one again.
Casino? The
casino manager tells her... She keeps blocking her on things.
Oh, yeah.
And she tells her that the security tapes have all been erased.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they kick Sarah out.
Yeah, they're just screwing with her.
That's when Sarah calls Rusty.
To try to get the assistant district attorney, and she's trying to get a federal warrant.
Right.
And she can't get a warrant quickly enough, but all of a sudden she looks over and sees the ATM machine, and she has, yet again, a brilliant idea.
Right, and she says the ATM is not owned by the casino. She wants a warrant for the ATM.
And he says you can have it immediately.
Now, okay. What happened here, I actually, once again, as per usual, I misinterpreted. I was thinking that she was going to take receipts from the ATM to try to place who was there. But no, much smarter than that, the ATM has video.
Yeah. I thought she was going to look at to see if, because she had Stan's credit card.
Right.
That's I figured exactly she was just going to look up their last name.
And she was trying to place Rosie there. Right. But this is much better than just placing
luckily
Rosie
they're
there.
smarter than us.
There's video on it. So really cool.
So Holder shows up, and he says, in only the way Holder can.
Yeah. Oh, he's full of them in this episode.
Is there 1 or 2 days a month that you're not PMSing? Right. So they're off to a good start, and he cracks me up. And as someone who does only have 1 or 2 days a month and I'm not PMSing, I
no, they actually overlap. At times.
Sometimes. So he's got a present in the car for his nephew, and it's really painful to watch that scene with him leaving the message for his sister and the nephew.
Well, we know the whole story, how he was stealing from his nephew when he was on drugs and everything, and he's trying to reconnect. He's trying. Now,
and so they have a parade that day, and he said he was going to be there. I'm going to be there for the parade. I'm going to see you later, buddy. And he's doing the whole thing.
But she never picks up. We don't know if there actually is a plan for him to be there, or if this is all him thinking that he's making amends. Mm-hmm. And, of course, it doesn't happen anyway, but really, I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's being delusional about this, which he might be.
So Sarah comes and gets in his car, and she says Jack's school called. He didn't show up to school and hasn't been in school for 3 days.
3 days! Oh my gosh, this is terrifying.
So they go to the motel immediately, and they find his phone at the motel.
Right.
Now, what teenage kid ever leaves his phone?
Yes.
And goes off.
Yeah, there's like half-eaten pizza.
Very
and
scary.
phone.
There's no sign of Jack. Holder
oh my
waits
gosh,
for
it's
her.
terrible.
Holder waits for her and then takes her to Reggie's boat.
Oh wait! I'd like to point out.
Go for it.
There's a lot of rain.
Oh, for gosh sakes!
When she walks outside, It's just pouring.
Oh, it's always pouring.
Rain.
It's never a nice light drizzle.
No.
He's trying to figure out her relationship with Reggie, and she's just kind of diverting him. And
right.
And Reggie, she says Reggie's gone for a week, and Jack's friend's mom won't let Jack hang out with her son anymore because he's a bad influence.
Right.
So as she's trying to figure out where everybody is and where Jack might be there,
this is where she's calling around to his friends, and
I meant to say that
the one mom says, "Look, Jack's a problem,
and I haven't let him hang out with my son,
right?
Because he's a bad influence." And Sarah's just mad.
Well, and Holder,
she doesn't want to hear it.
At the same time this is going on, is talking about the Reggie relationship, and he says,
"Not yet."
Yeah, he does.
No, I got something first.
Go ahead.
First, they go to the tunnel.
The tunnel.
See? Yeah, luckily I watched the show. They go to the tunnel, a place where middle school kids go to smoke and make out. So she's looking at Holder and saying, "What is this place?
Oh,
and
right,
should I be scared? Is this something that I?" And he says,
Holder knows it because
he says, middle school kids go there to smoke and make out. He's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But there's no sign of Jack there.
And
but
then
they see a bunch of kids, but no Jack.
And they look like Jack. They're wearing their hoodie and whatever. And they start walking down the tunnel towards him. And she goes, "Jack!" No one reacts.
It's not him. Well, she sees the one kid and thinks it's him.
Right.
And as soon as she turns him around, it's not him.
Definitely not him.
And then they start asking, does anybody know? The one kid...
Oh, and they're just
to rough
tools.
them up. Yeah.
These kids are just
and
tools.
So the kid says, "I'm going to call the cops, freaks." And she says, "We are the cops."
You're right.
And she admits, so she and Holder start talking about Reggie. And she admits to Holder that Reggie is her social worker.
Yeah.
And she says, "I've known her my whole life, and she wouldn't take my kid without telling me."
Yeah.
So this is somebody who stepped in when she was a kid.
Right.
And mentored her and helped her, and they have stayed close. But I'm telling you right now, she has a big issue with Reggie.
Yeah,
and now you're starting to see it, right?
I'm not yet, but I'm believing you.
Darn you.
Well, I don't think it's been obvious enough for me. But I definitely see what you're saying, and it makes sense.
So they're canvassing the area looking for Jack, and then Holder says he's hungry, and so they go to this restaurant, like a fast food place. He orders a hamburger with no meat.
Right.
And then orders pork rinds and says, "I'm a vegetarian."
Right.
And pork rinds don't count.
He ate the bacon maple donut in the last one. Now he's getting pork rinds.
So the hamburger with no meat. And then
his explanation is, well, that's just junk food.
Right.
But it's still pork.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny. So, she asks him then, now if she can flip the tables a little bit, she asks him about his tattoo. And he says he was on meth, and he got clean when his boss threatened to kick him off the force.
Right.
And they have a nice philosophical discussion.
When he said, she's like, "Oh, it's because you were on Vice that you got onto it." And he goes, "No, I just really loved meth." So,
and he said a higher power gave him the strength to quit, but she doesn't buy it.
Right.
And
when he has a couple of really good lines in here too. Like one thing he says is everything makes sense. It's just how you perceive it. Mm-hmm. So real philosophical. And then another one, he says, "Wisdom's all around. It's like air."
Yes.
So, he's definitely coming from some place.
Yeah. And she's just
even though on the surface, he's a goof.
But she is not someone who can look in.
Right.
She's not someone who looks at feelings. She doesn't examine anything. She doesn't want to see anything.
Right.
But he tells her that he knows about her last case, the kid who drew the picture. And so she said, the dad killed the mother, and she had him put away.
Right.
And the kid ended up in foster care because of her, and she has carried that guilt because she went through the foster system, and she knows what she subjected that boy to.
Right.
And
now, I don't know what you were thinking at this point, but to me, I actually wrote, I don't fully believe her story here. Mm-hmm. I
did feel like there was a lot more to it that she was leaving out.
Yeah, I don't think she's telling the story yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we could be wrong. It could just be that
she hasn't mentioned the nervous breakdown or any of the other things that have other people keep alluding to.
Right. So maybe that's the part of the story that's missing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if she was completely truthful about how this situation went down.
So Holder got into Jack's phone, and the password was Funyuns. And how the heck figured that out?
Well, of course, because when they were in the back at the office, he was giving him Funyuns. So he just was like, he thinks I'm the bomb, and he's going to put Funyuns. And it was. And that's what he said. Oh, he could do worse than me.
He offers to be his role model.
Right.
And Sarah just, shivers.
Oh, no.
So a restricted phone number was texting Jack to meet. But the phone company won't unblock the phone.
Right. Well, and wanted him to meet. It was right by the school.
Yeah.
So it's
really creepy.
Whose car is he getting into? What is going on here?
So she asks Holder for a cigarette.
Yes.
Because now she's done. Yeah. She's freaking out. Now she's really scared for her child. She puts out an APB on Jack. And she goes back to the motel at 3:30 because he's supposed to be home at that time.
Right.
And she's like, he wouldn't miss this. He wouldn't miss this.
She says he's always there 3:30 sharp.
Yes.
So they're going to go back and find out. And
no sign. No sign of him.
Nothing. And the whole time we've got, we know that Holder has to get out of there. He's got this break.
Really sad.
So when she leaves, he's playing with the phone and he's,
he's kind of
leaving
freaking
messages.
Out. What do I do? What do I do? So he calls his sister to cancel.
Oh.
And it's just so bad because
But once again, she doesn't pick up. We don't know if she's even...
It doesn't matter. He's already put it out there, so she knows he's flaked out again.
Right. And he's like, it's not like last time. This is something I'm trying to help a friend. But once again, here's a communication issue. Why doesn't he just say,
my partner's son is missing. Duh. I mean, yeah, really. So Sarah thanks him for being her ride. It's the first time she's actually been nice to him.
Right.
And
we caught her in the 10 minutes where she's not PMSing this
exactly. It only took her about 10 seconds to say it, probably. Right. So I don't think it was a whole 10 minutes she was pleasant. But,
no.
So Holder wakes up alone in the car, and he sees Sarah outside the motel smoking. And he goes out to check, and she says Jack's not there. Oh. And she tells him about all the different places she's lived, all the foster homes.
Yeah, how she was bounced around.
Her mom left when she was 5.
Yeah.
Oh, now I get to say the best line ever.
Hold on a second. While she was telling this story, I was believing her.
Of
Whereas,
course.
No, but in that last thing when she told about the kid, I didn't buy it.
Yeah, there was something weird.
There's something weird there. But yeah, this is where the lines are great.
So she says her mom left when she was 5, and Holder says, "No wonder you ain't a pro at being a mom's, I mean."
Being a mom.
Oh, my, I almost fell off the couch. I almost fell off the couch. And then she says, "Wow, you're a real dick." Wait, no, you can't talk about it. She goes, "Wow, you're a real dick sometimes." And he says, "I just mean you didn't have the blueprints. It's like cats. If they don't get raised by their moms, they don't learn how to bury their cockerels." And she glares at him.
Bury their caca.
I know. And then she glares at him, and he looks at her surprised, and he says, "What? You want to smoke or something?" Like completely not understanding.
That's what I was going to say. It's so funny because when he says all this stuff...
Oh, he's just clueless.
He is completely clueless.
Yeah.
He's saying the worst things to her.
But he's saying it like he's complimenting her.
Yeah,
and he's like
no.
"Oh, that makes all the sense in the world as to why you suck so bad at being a parent." Right. And he's like... Oh, and when he keeps calling them moms, when he keeps saying, "Oh, your moms," it just makes me die. I laugh so hard. And he's like, "Oh, being a mom's, I mean, and then she just looks at him, "Wow, you're a real dick sometimes." So she glares at him, but he looks at her totally surprised. He's like, "What? You want to smoke or something?"
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, you want a cigarette?"
Oh,
what's your problem?
Is that what you want? Is a cigarette?
What, you couldn't possibly making that face at me because I upset you. Oh, it's so funny. So it turns out that Jack had called Holder 2 days before, and he wanted to know how to make hot dogs. And he says you weren't around. And Sarah says, so he calls a vegetarian Jesus freak?
Yeah, but that's...
No, hang on.
But this is where
he says,
he's crossing a line now.
But wait, now he says, whatever, I picked up my phone.
Right. He's crossing a line. She's upset about her kid. He's been throwing these barbs at her without knowing. Now he's saying,
your kid is coming to me before he comes to you because I pick up my phone.
And this is an attack.
And they have the same job. They have the same demands.
Yeah.
They have the same everything. And he's picking up the phone.
Right.
And telling her kid how to make hot dogs. So she gets really, really mad.
Yeah.
She gets out of the car. She will not get back. And he's driving along next to her. Get in the car. I'm sorry. Finally, she gets back in the car.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's pouring rain.
Of course, it's pouring rain.
And she's not anywhere near where she could get help. So she gets in and he hands her a cigarette.
Right.
And he laughs and says, "Where to, boss?"
Yeah.
So they go to a park that night, and she used to bring him when he was little. She used to bring him there when he was little.
Right. She talks about that and about pushing him on the swing and everything.
Then the police radio.
Yep. And they say, a call comes in, and there's a 13-year-old's body found
a boy.
dead. Yeah, boy. And of course, I mean, I was freaking out. I don't know about you.
Totally matched his description.
Yeah. Sarah freaks out. They drive right there. Lights flashing, everything. They go off. They get there. She starts running, and Holder grabs her. He's like, "No, you can't just run in there."
He tries to physically restrain her from seeing this body.
And she pushes her way out. She runs up to the body, and
it's not Jack.
It's not Jack. Oh, my gosh.
And Sarah just completely breaks down. Yeah.
Because that was, I thought it was Jack. I was going, this can't be.
I knew it wouldn't. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, logically, when you step back from it, it's like, no, but you know what? Oh, my gosh. I thought it was going to be Jack. I was just so scared.
And the fact that it's any 13-year-old.
Yeah, terrible. And they said, they go, well, we're going to have to call the parents in. Right away, I'm thinking, the Larsons.
Yeah.
What would we do? I mean, it's horrible.
So Sarah breaks down. Holder takes her back to the motel and goes in with her. Goes into the actual motel with her, not in the room.
Right.
And there's Jack standing
in the hallway.
Holder says, "Kick his ass."
Right.
And Sarah says,
"No doubt."
Yeah, and then goes up and hugs him, of course, and is not mad at him.
Yeah.
And then Holder. Now this broke my heart because now Holder leaves alone,
and
his relationship with his family is more damaged.
Yep.
And so he leaves with nothing, and I really don't ever get the sense that she even appreciates.
No, I don't either.
Anything that he does.
No, I don't either.
And that's very sad.
She's just disrespectful to him. And he was doing that for her.
Yeah.
And he was sacrificing.
And he did not tell her.
And whether she knew he was sacrificing or not, it was still a sacrifice. He spent all day with her. He had other things to be doing.
Overnight.
Yeah.
But he did not tell her about his sister or anything. He did this completely selflessly.
Right.
And
so he gets in his car and he checks his sobriety pin. And I think that's what it was anyway. And then he gets a call
from the assistant district attorney
that the warrant is in.
Your friend Rusty.
Rusty. For the ATM. It's his name, right?
I don't know. You've said
I think it's Rusty. I wrote it down, I think.
Yeah, well,
so,
I write a lot of things down, but they're not often right.
Yeah, so Rusty calls and says the warrant is in.
For the ATMs, yeah.
For the ATMs. And
so here's this little snippet at the end. So you've got that phone call. It's a quick, the warrant is in. Sarah asks Jack where he was, and he says he was with his dad.
Right.
And then you see Holder watching footage.
Right, he's sitting there in the office watching all the ATM footage. It's got all these different camera angles, all the different ATMs going. So he's watching this stuff, and lo and behold, what pops up? Rosie
at the casino.
Clearly, it's Rosie, and he spots her. Oh no,
everything's Rosie.
He spots her.
Uh-huh.
End scene, and that's it. Holy smoke!
This was a fantastic. It was.
Now you know what's funny?
Yeah.
This episode.
Yeah.
Is the shortest podcast we've done about an episode.
Well, it doesn't...
Because not a lot happened. It was just a lot of tension.
You don't have any of the Larsons.
There was
you don't have any of the campaign.
Right. There was just a lot of character development with Sarah and Holder.
Yeah. And a building of their relationship and background. We got a lot of background information.
Now, do you think, okay, so Aggressive Kisser is out of the picture.
He's out of the picture.
There's no way that he's coming back in the picture. Do you see a deepening of their relationship at any point?
I don't think that I ever see them together. They're no Mulder and Scully. But I see them as friends. I see them as good, like, developing a strong bond. I'm actually seeing it a
little differently.
Okay.
Because the way he is and the way he's kind of integrating himself into her life, even though he's not, he is.
Well, he is with Jack and everything, yeah.
I could see...
her softening?
Yes. Not softening in a way that she becomes, like, wussy or anything, but softening like realizing... he's the one guy being actually good to my kid.
Yeah, and he's very supportive of her. And
he's here.
I just don't know if she's so... like Mulder, she's so badly damaged...
yeah.
that it makes any human contact painful.
Right.
And so that's why she's barely even able to keep Reggie in her life.
But they have this parallel experience of bad experiences through their lives and
yeah, but
going down this bad rabbit hole. I don't know. This was the first episode where I know you were supposed to because it was about the two of them. And it's interesting because they were at odds. He wasn't, but she was the whole time. And she, I think, was rude to him at the end.
Yeah.
But
through a lot of it.
But this was the first time where I thought, I wonder if this is where this eventually goes. Like if there is
great.
Something there, because I was definitely getting a relationship vibe.
I'm one who always likes love. So if I even get a hint, I will latch right on. I'm not getting a hint at this point.
It's interesting because I think I got a hint.
Okay. I'm going to let you have that hint.
Well, we'll see.
But I think that what we'll see is that closeness that Mulder and Scully had, where
for sure, I think there's going to be a deepening of the relationship,
real bond, because they don't have anybody else,
right?
And much like Mulder and Scully, and so I do think that there will be a deepening. And now in the beginning, Mulder and Scully were barely friends,
right?
So it took a little while for them,
and I think that's the same case here. And I think that it's going to be very different, and I don't know how quickly it's going to happen. It might not be till the third season that we see her soften, but I do think that it was kind of being indicated here that, like, him, the way he is, him sacrificing for her, I think that could be the case.
But she didn't know he was sacrificing for her.
No, but as she becomes aware of him more, she could realize it. And I think the fact that he's cool to Jack is
I think
a
that's
big thing.
Actually more it than anything.
Because Aggressive Kisser came and visited, and he didn't even go into the room with Jack. I mean, he may have, but he wasn't in there hanging out with Jack.
No, he doesn't care.
That's a jerk. That's a jerk.
Yeah.
So
and Holder was, he's protective of him,
right?
And he's
and they share the password Funyuns.
Oh, that's so funny. But Holder gets him.
Right. And
that's important to a mom,
right.
That someone gets her kid, and
especially somebody who has abandonment issues and that. I just wanted to bring that up because
I'm not sure that it's going to be a relationship-y love connection, but there's going to be a family bond, like a pseudo family bond.
For sure. I think that's going to happen. Because let's face it, this is only 11 days into it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you
it's
were
not
just working that because you figured that out.
I figured it out.
So you're just so proud of that. You're going to make it fit it into every conversation.
I am. I'm so anxious to find out what happens in the next couple seasons. Is it just one day later, or do they go, 2 months later and then do a day at a time, or how do they do that? You know what? Those little gimmicks work on me.
Yeah,
because I watch for them, and now that I know, I'm kind of obsessed. That's how it works. Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's do it.
This was the shortest episode, but that's fun. Okay. It was bite-sized, but it was
I loved it. I loved
episode.
It. This would be one that I would see myself watching over and over. Like that.
Yes.
there are certain ones where you just go, that's...
Yeah, I don't really want to sit and watch her funeral. I don't want to watch those early episodes.
But
I
his
would,
lines,
if they were on, I think I would watch them.
But their rapport and everything.
But this one was one I would watch again.
This is an important one in the series.
Like if somebody was over and they were talking about this show and like, oh, I never really watched it. And
this would be a great episode.
This would be one to show them like,
yeah.
You want to see who these characters are? Here you go.
Yeah.
You want to see the tension of the show? Here you go. But it doesn't spoil anything as far as
doesn't
the Larsons or anything else. So there you go.
Cool.
Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been the Killing Podcast, brought to you by Southgate Media Group. You can find this podcast and all our other fun podcasts at our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. You can follow me on Twitter at rsouthgate, and you can follow this show where we tweet out basically when a new show hits iTunes. You can find that at The Killing Pod. For The Killing Podcast, I'm Rob Southgate.
And I'm Martha Southgate.
Thanks again for listening, everybody. Next time, do you think we'll find out who killed Rosie Larson?
I hope so.
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.